Yuriy Ryzhenkov, CEO of Metinvest. Good to see you at the Steel Conference here in New York.
Thank you.
You have focused on a panel on the international world, and this is where you operate. You're one of the top steel producers in the world, actually. How does the Ukraine and steel production fit in with everyone else?
Well, it used to be one of the largest steel producers in the world, and actually, I think last year is the first year when we dropped out of the top 10. But lately, it's been facing quite a bit of trouble. First, the demand inside of the country dropped dramatically since the dissolution of the Soviet Union, and once the steel consuming industry started to die out, then the Ukraine steel industry had to redirect its steel to exports. And right now, if you look at Ukraine, then really the domestic market for Ukrainian steel is the Mediterranean Black Sea based market. So we're talking about Southern Europe, we're talking about Northern Africa, we're talking about the Gulf and Turkey. So that's our main playing field. And there we feel ourselves pretty confident that we can take on any fight, apart from the so-called protectionism issues that are happening throughout the world right now.
How do some of the trade issues that we're very focused in on the US impact a company like yours?
We are not that big a player in the US. We have our own operations here, but it's a coal mining operation where we mine the coal in the US and then export it to Ukraine. In terms of the steel sales, we're a pretty marginal player in the US, so I don't think it's a major impact for us. And we're trying to focus on what we can provide, which is not available locally in the US. For example, the pig iron, which is used by the electric arc furnace manufacturers, we supply quite a bit of that from Ukraine. So in this respect, we're definitely not a threat to national security, as Mr. Trump would have put it. But we're definitely worried about the wave of protectionism and the way the national security term is used to basically close out the market in which we could operate, we could provide value-added services.
Do you think that's a realistic worry? Do you think there might be ripple effects if, say, Section 232 is approved?
There's always a ripple effect on the protectionism in the world. Whenever you limit the supply, there is an imbalance in the market, and then nobody knows whether the producers will be able to pass on those higher prices or higher costs onto the consumers. And if they are not, then the consumption is going to go down. Once the consumption goes down, then we go into downward spiral. And then you have again overcapacity, and then again you have a problem with restricting bringing the material from outside.
It is like a broken record, right? We've seen this before. What will it take for prices to increase beyond the capacity issues? Do you need to see a significant pickup in demand?
I think we need to focus on demand. We should stop thinking about dividing the pie. We should look at how we can enlarge the pie. And we start with ourselves. We're working quite a lot in Ukraine, trying to increase the consumption of steel inside of Ukraine. We're trying to convince the government to support the steel consuming industries like the machine building industry. We're trying to convince them to put more into infrastructure. I mean, this could be the case for the United States. It would have been much better, instead of just jamming steel imports into the country, just putting resources into renovation of infrastructure in the US. Majority of it has been built in the 30s and 40s. I mean, you go down the streets of New York and you see that a bit of renovation wouldn't hurt. And that would have been quite a push on the demand for steel, and that would have pushed prices up for steel, and that would have been an improvement for the local steel manufacturers.
What are you doing right now in terms of your own investments? Are you in a period where you're sitting tight a little bit, or is this the time where you start thinking about the future and start thinking about it?
Well, we do think about the future. We've been through a very difficult couple of years. The steel industry crisis coupled with the Ukrainian war crisis really were tough times for us. But now we kind of get used to it. We know it's a new reality. We know how to work in this new reality. We're flexible enough to be successful in this new reality. So now we're restarting our strategic projects. And a major focus is in two areas. One area is the efficiency of production. So we're looking at the hot end and how we can bring the maximum efficiency at the hot end. And the second is how we can satisfy our customers best, what the needs are, how can we be close to the customer, how we can bring them that unique product that they actually need at that point in time. So those are the two areas of investment we have right now.
Yuriy Ryzhenkov. So nice to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.